Hey there, amplifiers. Thank you for tuning in. In this video, I'm giving some body language tips for public speakers. If you ever had the opportunity or have the opportunity to speak in front of a crowd, you want to do your best. You want to be able to communicate a message that people remember. You want to be able to make an impact. And as you may have heard before, your body language communicates more than your words. So paying attention to your body language is really important. As I'm covering these tips, what I suggest you do is jot these tips down. And then you can give a small self-assessment on, do you think you're doing really good here? You think you're doing okay? Or man, you stink and maybe you need to improve. Here's the thing. We've all start from different places. When I started out speaking, I was so bad. How bad were you? I bored myself in front of a college room talking about search engine optimization. It was a bland topic, but I was a bad speaker at that point in time. That was over a decade ago. I was missing opportunities in my career because I didn't know how to communicate effectively. I had good ideas, but wasn't a proper communicator. So what did I do? I went through Toastmasters. And through Toastmasters, I learned how to become a competent speaker. Then I also participated in groups such as the National Speakers Association, which is for professional speakers. I had several different speaking coaches and continued to sharpen my knowledge and expertise. So without further ado, let's get into the tips and think, where are you in each of these tips? So first things first, when you're coming out to the stage, you might feel that nervous energy. You might feel, I'm nervous. One reframing of that energy is easy to do, is rather than thinking, I'm nervous, I'm scared, is thinking, this energy is here to fuel me. I'm getting ready to make a message, and this is charging me up to do a good presentation. Same energy, different framing makes a difference on how you experience it. Then you're coming out to the stage. You want to stand tall, confident, feet about shoulder width apart, and just feel confident in your presence. If you're slouching, if you're hunkered down, if you look nervous, people will smell the fear. And you've seen open mic night in the comedy hour. It can really get bad. So stand confident. You may have heard the Wonder Woman pose. Standing like this for a period of time will actually give you energy. Doing this does that as well. But I don't think you're going to do that at the beginning of your speech. So just standing confident. All right, number 2, make eye contact. If you're just reading from a paper, that's no good. Looking down, avoiding looking at people, that's not very welcoming. So making eye contact. You don't want to be looking around at everyone because that looks nervous. What I've learned is pick out a few people in the crowd. Maybe someone in the front on the right, someone in the back on the right, someone in the front in the middle, someone in the back in the middle, someone in the left in the front and in the back. And then make eye contact looking at them. When you're doing that, you're connecting with the crowd. So that's an opportunity to really connect with people. You can generally scan the room, but you don't want to be looking around frantically and you don't want to just be closed off. All right. Number 3, use purposeful gestures. So if you're trying to make big points, you might want to use some gestures, but don't do nervous gestures. Don't do really exaggerated gestures. We want to use big points. That's just ridiculous. And you want to avoid doing stuff that looks ridiculous. You want to be mindful that you're not fidgeting with things. Sometimes people will be twiddling their thumbs or doing the spider on a mirror thing, or having their hands in their pants, twirling things around. Don't do that. Purposeful gestures, having open hands, you could see is very common when people are speaking. It's very open, welcoming, but you don't want to overdo it. Just feel natural and confident. So then moving with intention. If you're kind of like at a certain point, you have a stand and you're not able to move around on stage, well, then you want to speak to the microphone. You might be hearing me doing some subtle moving here, and you might notice there's a difference in volume from my pitch. You'd want to be aware of that, because if you're speaking in a microphone to a room and you're jumping all around talking to your voice, you're gonna hear the difference, right? You want to avoid that. So you'd want to speak into the microphone. But if you have the opportunity to move on a stage, you'd want to use the stage purposefully. So you might start in the middle and tell your point, and then you may come over to the right. And you're going to anchor and maybe talk about a story or point on that side of the stage. And then you can come visit your friends on the left. But the key is you want to be purposeful, and you can plan this in advance when you plan to move. So it's purposeful, not just roaming back and forth like a lion in a cave. Are lions in caves? Are they in the jungle? I don't know where lions are. Then, number 5, maintaining an open stance. So again, it's being able to face the audience, being open, being like you're happy to be there, or if you're especially giving something that's happy talk, maybe not if you're giving a sad talk, but avoid being closed off and doing something that is closing off that energy. Using emotions in your face, facial expressions. These are something that you can think about and you can hear. If you're excited about something, look like you're excited about it. Don't make it fake. Think about a time when you're really excited. Connect with that feeling and then share that excitement. If something is upsetting and sad, and you want to think about a time when it was really upsetting and sad and come into that moment. Now, that's probably going to need some speaker coaching. What I've learned is that if you're faking it, it's just like watching a B movie or a bad B movie, and people can sense your fake emotions, and it's actually bad. Like if I was to act like I was so angry, that's not believable. I'm mimicking anger, right? So you'd want to really work to find the emotion and connect into that space of that emotion. Practice. All right, so that was 6. 7. There we go. Practice some controlled breathing. So just breathing, taking a moment to breathe and releasing. You'll hear a lot of speakers use filler words. Well, so we use filler words sometimes because we're trying to think of what to say, rather than just plowing through and letting words come out your face. Taking a moment to think, collecting your thoughts, and breathing, and then speaking really with the intention of communicating your message authentically. All right, number 8. Practice the pause. The pause. So if you're nonstop speaking, it's not dynamic. It's just, or if you're very monotone the whole time and you're just giving a bunch of information, boring. So you want to be able to speak with a little bit of range, with a little bit of depth, and then pause. Pause to get attention. If you make a good quote, if you make a good point, let it sink in for a moment. Number 9, we're almost to the end of this list. Respond to the audience reactions. If you tell a joke and it lands, acknowledge that. If you see people shaking their head in agreement, lean into those reactions and do it authentically. Don't imitate unresponsiveness. If people aren't into you, don't follow that. Instead, just do what you've rehearsed to do. Stay positive, stay energized, and commit to communicating your message. And then, last but not least, if it's not obvious, practicing by recording, watching, and improving over time. You can't really hit one out of the park without practice, practice, practice. People make it look like they're natural, amazing speakers. It's because they've had a lot of practice and experience. Some of us had better natural abilities than others, but overall, it takes practice. I tend to get energized when I'm in front of people. I feel that energy. Sometimes it works for me and also has worked against me. If I get too excited, I can trip over my words. I can start doing outlandish gestures. But when I remain to practice and become centered, I can communicate a message authentically. And that's all that we're really aiming to do is showing up, being yourself, taking it from your heart, from your mind, passing it on to someone else. So the next time you have an opportunity to share your message in front of a group, think of these tips and then try to do them all. Just kidding. No, I suggest not doing that. Instead, if you remember from the very beginning of this video, I suggested writing down and then giving yourself how you believe you're doing. You probably should look at a speaking coach and get a second opinion. Are you doing great here? Doing okay? Or do you really need to work on this? And then pick on 1 to 2, max 3 things to focus on at any point in time. If you try to do everything and remember everything, it's going to be too much. Over time, you can build these skills and to develop to be a really professional, amazing, dynamic speaker. But it takes a lot of work, just like an athlete, to learn all these skills. So I'd be curious to know, what is your biggest takeaway, or what is something that you found effective when giving your message to other people in the world? Thank you for your support. Share your comments, likes, and shares are highly welcome and encouraged. Thank you.